Hello guys, my name is Jesper Nissen, and in this video I'm going to show you the latest update in YACSS. And the latest update is related to Spintax. So let me just hop right into it. I click on Mass Page Builder over here to the left, and the update is related to the content input in YACSS. So when I click on special content, for example, and I click on 4 because I have 4 content areas, 4 special content areas. So what we just added is an option to either enable or disable Spintax. And what this means is that sometimes you might want to have content that looks like this. This is some super duper information with regards to, I don't know, bottles. I don't know why you would want to write something like that, but if you previously wrote something like that, then these curly brackets would be subjected to the Spintax rules, and they would be removed, and you would only have bottles. I can actually just click Enable Spintax and click Preview. Let me just add a meta title up here, Preview, and I have bottles, right? So, but if I go down to special content and I disable Spintax, Preview, then I see that the curly brackets are remained. And we decided to have enabled Spintax by default, so everything is subjected to Spintax rules by default, because probably most of you use the Spintax like this. And it is, you can decide by individual content area if you want to enable or disable Spintax. So you might have in content area 1 some sort of information that you want Spintax to be enabled, and then in content area 2 you want some information that where you don't want Spintax to be enabled. It's totally up to you. And the same thing in the content areas up here, enable or disable. So you might notice that there's this big button up here, Spin Content, and Spin Content is not directly related to the enable or disable Spintax. But I did talk about this in the previous update video, but let me actually show what this means. Let me grab some information from the Schema Writer website. Schema Writer. Let's see here, web page schema generator. What is web page schema? Let me just copy this and go over to Notepad here to delete any hidden code and go back. So now I have my content here, and if I click on Spin Content, then it should spin content. Yeah, it did. So now you see that it added Spintax to this content. So it is kind of related to this, because if I now click Preview, then I have the information that has now been subjected to the Spintax rules, and the curly brackets have been removed. And if I click Disable Spintax and click Preview, then I see the full content with the Spintax. So I don't know why you would actually have Spintax and then disable Spintax, because that looks kind of silly, but you have the option. And it is also, again, here in the content, it is per content area that you can enable or disable Spintax. So now these features, it's very, very nice that we have these features, because I want to show you something else. Let's see. Let me enable Spintax. I want to show you something. So now I enable Spintax. So we have something in Schema Writer called iframes. So over in Schema Writer, my Schema Writer account, I ran a report for the keyword automated web page schema. Actually, I was confused because I can see that target URL is here and keyword is here, so we need to reverse those. But I ran a report for automated web page schema. So when I click View here, I can now see here all of the schema code that I generated. And over here in the iframe tab, I can now embed, I can make an iframe with the website schema writer, and I can click preview. So this is what it looks like. And let me close that again. So what you will notice is that here is all of the schema code from the schema tab. All of the schema code is now included here in the iframe. So you have the iframe beginning, and you can see that this is the schema writer website that we are making an iframe of. So this is the start tag, and inside of the start tag you have all of this HTML code. And furthermore, besides the schema code, we also have this field down here that is kind of peculiar. You probably didn't notice this before in your schema writer account. But you can either choose to have a manual keyword input, or you can grab automatically the entities from the about mentioned in Spintax. And why is that important? Well, let me go over to the schema tab again. So if I open web page schema, and I click down here to about and mentions. So all of these rows here in the about accordion, these are entities. And the same thing with mentions. And they are entities that are drawn from the target URL and the competitors. And we now built into schema writer that it actually draws those automatically and puts them into Spintax. And why did we do that? Well, let me actually show you. So if I copy this code here and go back to YACSS, and I go down to source here in content area 2, and I click paste, and you can actually see here that we have this Spintax beginning and Spintax end, Spintax finish, and I click source, So now I will actually be able to see the iframe I did with schema writer, and if I click preview here, what I will see now is the iframe, and there's nothing wrong with that, that's just the iframe, that's what I did. But if I right click and show page source, and I scroll down, bear with me, I know this is technical, I'm scrolling down to find the iframe code. Where is it? Here it is. Yeah, so this is the iframe, schema, and then mixture. So this keyword is now, where are we? So this schema, this Spintax, these curly brackets have now been subjected to the Spintax rules. So each time I actually run this, one of these keywords is actually selected. So if I click generate, and I click upload to Amazon, for example. Let me just upload to my own account name. And let me select a test directory, test 38. Test 38, like this, create. And let me just click upload so we can actually finish this so you can see what the end result will look like. Let's see here. I copy the URL and I open that. So now I see the content up here and I see the iframe here with the schema writer website. And if I right click, show page source. So I now actually see all of the schema code inside of the iframe. And if I go out to the right, far out to the right side, somewhere I see, yeah, so this is the name of the entity. So you can see it's a little bit convoluted explanation, and you don't really need to do anything except you need to run your report in schema writer, select this radio button, click copy here, and then go over to YACSS and paste the iframe in. Of course, remember to insert a URL here. And the end result will be an iframe that has schema code, and it also has the one of the entities as the anchor text keyword inside of the iframe. So you get a double whammy, so to speak. So you get the completed entity optimized schema code, and you also get the keyword to give it that bit of topical relevance. And the actual reason that we actually have this Spintax is because it's actually not meant to be used in the mass page builder. Or you can use it in mass page builder, but I built it to be intended to be used in the stack builder, because when you're using the stack builder, you're creating this diagram, you're generating this diagram. So let's say automated web page schema for SEO, for example. That's my keyword, for example, and I want to use Amazon, and Azure and Google Cloud. I want to have 3 and 3, like this. So I want to have this little diagram. So now YACSS Stack Builder will generate content centered around this keyword, and the target URL will be yeah, let me build a stack to schemawriter.ai, because that's what I want to boost. Over here, of course, target URL. So what I would do is I would go down to spatial content, click on 1, and click on source, go over to schemawriter, click on copy, go back to YACSS, here we are, click here, click Control V, doot, and now I have all of the entity optimized schema code here. And if I click source, we can see that we have the iframe here. And then I would actually click build settings, and then I will scroll down and would disable web page, local business, and product schema, because I'm using the built-in schema from SchemaWriter. And then I click generate. I want you to take notice of what I just did. So I disabled the built-in web page schema product and the built-in schema that YACSS produces. Because why? Because I'm now using the schema that SchemaWriter uses. So this is a combination of the schema from SchemaWriter that we place in the stacks that YACSS uses. So we have the iframe schema, the iframes with the schema, and we have the Spintax with the entities, and then we have the stack builder here in YACSS. I'm just click pause so we can see what the end result will be. Hold on a couple of seconds. All right, so now the stack is done, and I can click here and click on CSV to download the CSV file, and I can open it here. And I can open, let's see, this guy here, doot, see what it looks like. And so what I can see now is I have, of course, I have this image, and I have all of this content, and I have the should have an outgoing link up here, yes. And here I have the iframe. So if I take this guy here, Control C, and take it over to schema.org, schema.org, and click validate, and click Control V and run test. Let's see what it says. So what I can see now is I have the web page schema, the local business schema, product, and FAQ page schema. So this line here, this row, if this is the schema of the cloud page. So that's the schema of this guy here. And the interesting part is that this row here is the schema of the target URL. So that's because we created an iframe, and we create an iframe of the SchemaWriter.ai websites, and that's reflected in this row here. That's actually the schema of the iframe website. But anyway, this is the schema of our cloud site, and this is actually the schema file from the advanced entity optimized schema file from SchemaWriter that we can actually see here. So we can see founding date, same as sub-organization, opening hours, keywords, and all of that, you know, the same as knows about, all of that stuff that I've shown you in previous SchemaWriter videos. All of that stuff is now built into my cloud stack. So what this does is it gives optimal relevance from the cloud stack and all of the authority and power that you have in these powerful subdomains of Amazon and Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure and all of the other guys. You combine the authority with the topical relevance that you now have from the entity optimized schema and the iframes. So, and what's interesting is that when you, it's an interesting small detail that you might not recognize is that when you go into special content and you click here and you say, I want to enable Spintax, and you click source, we actually program Schema Writer output to work together with YACSS, because we click copy here and we click here, like this, and we click source, but we don't spin the schema. So let me go back to source again. So you know that the schema does contain this curly bracket here, right? And this is not spun when you're inserting it, even if you're saying enable Spintax. But we actually do spin this guy down here. So we can actually, we programmed YACSS to be able to detect the difference between the schema curly brackets here and the iframe, keyword Spintax curly brackets that you see actually down here. So yeah, rather lengthy update video, but I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.